Today on the grid, it is Blind Photo Critiques Day, but we've also got two very special guests. Marc and Wayne from the Muench workshops are going to be joining us today to help us with this, but they've also got some really eye-opening information, so it's going to be kind of a wild grid today. Kuna's back. Kuna is back live in the studio. We've got an update from our VIP and Inner Circle Summit that was this past weekend. We've got news. We've got some really great giveaways, and I predict that for some people, it's going to be a fun day. For other people, it's going to be a miserable day on the grid. But it all starts in just 26.4 seconds. Let's go.
The grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another live episode of The Grid. It's Wednesday around 1 o'clock. This is our starting time. We've got so much to share today. We've got special guests joining us. We've got the blind photo critiques. It's a whole bunch today. But don't worry, we're going to get through it. The network has given us extra time if necessary. So if we have to run over, they're going to just bump the Olympics.
They've never canceled us yet.
They haven't canceled us despite all of the things. Look how tan Mr. Kuna is from spending a week out in the sun.
Sun and fun. That's what it'll do to you.
Sun and fun. We had lots of sun and lots of fun. Okay, so first, we're going to get our prizes and stuff out of the way because I want to tell you about the VIP summit and everything that we did this weekend. So let's talk about our prizes because we have some great prizes.
Yeah, we got great prizes today. So first, we're going to start out with Scott's book, How to Do That in Lightroom. You can find this over on Amazon as well, but somebody's going to win this today. They're going to win a copy of that. And as well, we're giving away Scott's Crush the Composition book. You can get that over on Amazon. And somebody's going to win that. The Platypod handle. We're giving away a Platypod handle, a great accessory for your Platypod or anything where you're just wanting to rise up the camera a little bit. That's the grip. But
the handle's in there somewhere. Search for the handle. There's the elbow. Right at the top. Keep going.
There we
go.
Boom. So somebody's going to win the handle.
There's the handle.
Looks like a lightsaber. It's kind of cool. And somebody's going to win that today. On One No Noise. We're giving away On One No Noise, a great noise reduction software. So removing that noise that we get introduced into our camera. And then a V-Flat from V-Flat World. We're giving away one V-Flat there. Somebody's going to win that. We were using the heck out of those this weekend, that's for sure, which Scott's going to have some stuff on the summit. But somebody's going to win that. That has to be a U.S. shipping address only. So if you don't enter that, if you don't have a U.S. shipping address. How do you enter? All you got to do is leave us a comment and tell us what you'd like to win. And then leave us a comment about anything with the show. And we'd love to hear your feedback, any questions you have. And that's it. That's what we have for prizes.
All right, give me just 1 second.
And he's 1 second. A couple other things we're going to talk about. Lightroom conference is coming up next month. If you go over to KelbyOne.com or KelbyOneLive.com, and actually no / just go to KelbyOneLive.com and you'll see right on there. There's the Lightroom conference that's coming up next month. Lightroom is the tool for photographers. So if you want to master that tool for photographers, you're going to have 3 days to do it. One pre-conference day and then 2 tracks. If you can't come to every track or every session or even come on that time, you're going to get the replays for an entire year. So you don't have to worry about, I'm going to miss this or I'm going to miss that or this session or that session. You get access to everything for an entire year. And then we have a great class coming up this week from Ian Plant, Removing Distractions in Lightroom. So that's going to be a cool class coming out this week for KelbyOne members.
All right. Let me briefly tell you about the summit. So the summit is, we have a level of membership at KelbyOne for people who want to really, really dig deep, right? Mm-hmm. They're really super serious about their work and they want to go to that next level. And it's basically a coaching and mentoring program with Erik and I. And so we invite those people once a year to all get together. And so we can only accommodate a certain number of people. We have many more VIPs and Inner Circle people than we could possibly accommodate, but we figured we could accommodate 90. Now
That was stretching it too.
yeah. Last
Very
year
much stretching
it took 4 weeks and we were sold out, and this year it took 4 days and it was sold out.
It took 8 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
8
You're
hours.
right. It took 8 hours and it was sold out.
Never thought that. Yeah.
And so all these people came from all over, from as far away as like Denmark and the UK, and they all came here, and we all hung out for 3 days, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have a bunch of pictures, but unfortunately they're not sorted. It's just a bunch of pictures. So I'm going to
we're coming off the weekend. It was insane. We're tired. Like,
yeah, we're
it was
exhausted.
wiped out.
Yeah, it was. It takes months of planning to pull all this off, but we had such a great
so
time.
fun.
So the Inner Circle people had an extra thing. They got here early on Friday, and what we did. Let me just show you. Give me 1 second to get to the right spot here. Here we go. So we took everybody. That's not the shot I wanted to show. I like the way I clicked it.
You just clicked it. And
I clicked it, and a completely different picture. Wow. All right. So this is our crew. This is us. And we went to a gazebo in downtown Safety Harbor. And behind them, we have a cellist, or a model holding a cello. How's that? But she was terrific.
Oh,
and
awesome stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
The lighting
and
in there was amazing.
the lighting was incredible because
lighting
we got there early and we set her up. We set up the lighting. We brought our own backdrop. So it's all natural light so everybody can shoot at once. And we rotated and we did different poses and things. And it was a lot of fun. I was going to show you, I'll just whip through these real quick. I was going to show you one of the final pictures, but I can't get my hands on one. I could probably show you an iPhone photo, but it doesn't do justice. And you'll see what it looks like. There's a nice like group shot there. All right, that's us there.
Yeah, we should actually come on maybe next week and show some of the final photos that people are posting.
Oh yeah,
They're
man,
amazing.
people are posting some photos that look phenomenal. And so then then at 5 o'clock, we all came to our office and we had a bunch of food and we had a gallery show. So we have our own gallery. And so the people that were coming, the 90 people, submitted their images and we chose the best 20. They were printed by our friends at Bay Photo, who use this exposer. It's called the letter X. Poser. It is the most phenomenal way to show your images. The paper itself is incredible, but it stands off the wall, and you'll see some shots of the gallery
this
here.
Float mount system where it mounts on the wall. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderfully well, and this is kind of our hangout room here. We have a rock and roll theme, so that's why everything looks, that's kind of there. You can see Mr. Kuna, and all right, so there's Dodie posing with one of her beautiful pictures. That's an award-winning picture right there. And then this is us all cruising into the, these are some of the different sets we have and different stuff. There's some nice folks. And here's our theater. We have a theater in-house. And so we went back to the theater and I did a presentation. Erik did a presentation in our photo studio about getting ready for the air show we were taking everybody to the next day. And there's me doing my presentation. You can get a little better view here. There we go. So you can see a little better view. And there's Erik doing his presentation on how to get ready for the air show the following day. That was Friday. That was day one. Everybody was in great moods, like really, really nice people, having a lot of fun. Everybody came with the right attitude, and everybody was pretty jazzed, which makes it fun. Then on Saturday, we jumped in big buses. So we had 2 giant tour buses to move everybody from our home base in Tampa, Florida, to the second largest air show in America. We bought a media sponsorship. So KelbyOne was the media sponsor of the Sun and Fun event. We took everybody over there, and we had media badges, and this is us getting ready to go. That's me in the front seat. And Podco over here, pal. And then we got out to Sun and Fun. And I'll show you a little bit of that. There's the press center, sponsored by what? KelbyOne. All right. So we had a great time out there, and
Larry Becker came. There was
Larry Becker was there, which that makes anything special. Yeah. And I'm just whipping through the images here. And the Blue Angels were the star of the day, but they had all kinds of great aircraft, World War II aircraft. I saw P-51 Mustangs, all kinds of stuff. And then we arranged a special shoot in the afternoon. We were able to get a P-51 brought over to us in this hangar. They positioned it exactly where we wanted it to. And once we got it set up, this is us in there shooting in the hangar. So it's just us in the hangar. So it was just for us. And then we brought in a model. We brought in a professional model and dressed her in a 1940s kind of army outfit. Right, and I was hoping there'd be some final shots here, but there's not. But anyway, it's the second largest air show. There's tons of stuff to shoot, and we stayed for the night show. Now Erik is always that's us. That's our banner hanging on one of the media.
Lift.
Yeah, you can see it there. So
yeah, I've always talked up the air show or the
night show, and I never saw it. It's
like,
fantastic.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is absolutely. Let me show you some more. Let me get out of this. You guys can flip. There you go.
Yeah.
And let me just show you some more. But that was the Saturday. We spent the whole day there. It was, as you might imagine, quite hot.
Oh, it was the hottest air show I've ever been to in like 20 years.
Yeah, it was.
Ever. Like, I've been in like ridiculous.
I got the stats. It was 93 degrees. 93 degrees. Temperature-wise, the heat index was 105.
That's what I saw.
It was crazy hot.
It was so hot.
But everybody was so focused on shooting, like I'd have to go buy water and bring everybody water.
That's all I did all day was driving people water.
Erik's driving around with a golf cart, bringing people
Gatorade.
water because they're not stopping. They're just like,
well, we're photographers.
Here's F-35s are going by. It's hard to get people to say stop and go get water. But so Erik and I tried to help with that, and so did Joe, who's wonderful.
Yeah, Joe.
All right, listen to this. So on Sunday, all right, we got through the air show, we got home, and we all went to dinner. All right, Sunday, we had everybody meet here at the offices, and we set up, was it 7 shooting bays?
Yeah, or I think it was 8 because we added one.
Yeah, 8 different shooting bays that for everyone to shoot different stuff. But here's cool. We flew, we didn't fly, he drove. Dave DeBearmaker, right, one of the leading toy photographers in the world, came down, built sets, and sat there and helped everybody get toy photos. And you can't believe what people were getting.
It's amazing.
Dave was directing the light, showing how it was done.
Honestly, next week we should do a show just on the results.
On the results. You won't believe the results. Because I'll show you the picture, and you're like, wow, it looks kind of cool. When you see the final pictures, it's just insane. But Dave is so good. He's a great instructor.
Yeah.
And he built these for us. He built them for us. And so that was very exciting. And Dave is such a cool guy in person.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody had more fun than Dave did during this weekend.
He loved it.
He had fun.
We
He
were
was shooting
the air
everywhere.
show
He went to the air show.
He loved it.
Great guy, and he did a wonderful job. But we also had models. We had a beauty headshot. We had a cowboy shoot. And then we had a dancer. We had a male dancer. And when I say male dancer, I don't mean Chippendales. Yeah. I mean, he's a contemporary dancer.
He was so
it's
good.
A guy.
So good.
And he was body painting. That guy was phenomenal. People were getting incredible shots of him. We had it really darkly lit with just one little beam of light, and he knew how to play to that light, and it was fantastic. Then we had 2 different sets that Dave made. We had 2 different still lifes. We had a stormtrooper, a fully licensed LucasArts approved stormtrooper on one set with a backdrop, and then we had a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And the woman from the show, whose name I can't remember, Lucy, I can't remember her name.
I know what you're talking about.
She was here as well, so we did a whole cosplay thing on 2 different sets. There was just so much going on everywhere you went, and everybody got great shots. I'm going to show you some behind-the-scenes shots real quick. So this is one of the things that Dave built. He built a Star Wars set inside this box. Yes. And it's got a reflective bottom, and you can't tell
it looked like when you looked at through your camera, you were like on the set inside the Death Star. Like, and then that was another set where it was like you were on
like Tatooine or something.
The planet. Like, you were
and it was really good. Oh, here you can see some shots from the
gallery.
From the gallery there. And these are some more shots around the studios.
This is one of the sets.
That was us getting set up for everything. Some of these are out of focus. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I got to tell one of the people,
there's one of our stormtroopers.
Best thing for your iPhone, clean the lens.
Hey, the stormtrooper guy was really good. Like his poses and stuff was really good. Here's our beauty headshot going on there. We had a fantastic model. We had the cowboy shoot, and we had something for everybody to shoot.
Oh yeah.
And
then
Erik
people
and I
kinda,
are there.
like, rotated around. Yeah, we were all teaching.
Erik and myself and Dave
Yeah.
are right there helping everybody, going through settings, making sure everyone's getting the shots. Oh, there you can see.
Yeah.
That's later. They all got together on the same set.
Yeah, it was cool.
And there's the dancer doing
It was
just
so
incredible
good.
stuff. And it was all lit with continuous lighting, so nobody had to wait for like a flash trigger or anything like that. Let me grab. I think Paul Kober had sent us some shots too. Paul took a lot of
he did.
behind the scenes
Hey,
shots.
Paul.
So did Miguel. And let's
Paul's
take a
shots
look.
are really good.
So
too.
here's Paul's. This is in the hangar. You can see us shooting there. And that's me telling the model, don't mind all these photographers. They're not really paying attention. Here we are in the studio. They're shooting the toy models. And there's Paul
There's
doing
the
some
light
lighting.
stand. Paul, the human light stand.
But you can't believe like how realistic. That was my son
And
there.
then we brought out the fog. We got the fog in the can.
Yeah, we got the fog in the can to make it smoky and stuff. That was pretty cool. This is everybody coming in to register. When we first got there, that was Miles. There was Miles.
Hey, Miles.
Miles and Susan. All right, let's go. And there's Christina and the crew. We're all in the gallery, and then here we are setting up. She changed into her tall heels,
Yep.
and these are just some more behind the scenes shots, courtesy of Paul Kober. And let's see what else we got. Let me go through. We've seen quite a few of these.
Yep.
Well, we got some good behind the scenes shots there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
There's Jason, doing the test for the
doing
beauty
the test.
headshot stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Jason's in there going, oh, man, I should have cut the screen right there. There's our P51 coming in, Quicksilver.
Yep.
And we had the hangar all to ourselves, which was nice. Yeah, you can see our model there posing with the plane.
Oh, such good shots, too.
And she was terrific. She was really, really good. And she would give us snappy salutes and do some sassy poses. She was really good. And let's see what else we've got here. Let me see. Paul really liked that hangar. He shot a lot of it.
Yes.
All right. All right. So there was that. And let me just show you the last one. These are from Miguel. And
yeah, we'll have more
there's
next
Diane,
week. We'll have some
Tim.
finals next week.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more next week. And there's Tim posing with one of his images in the gallery from up in Maine.
What was so cool about the gallery, too, is everybody that won got to take the print, the mounting system, everything home with them.
Yeah, they got to take the prints and the mounting system and the whole nine thing. Oh, and we did a what you call it, a visual scavenger hunt. We did a visual scavenger hunt where everybody had to go find these different things. We gave prizes to the winners, prizes to the best shot, and then we took everybody for ice cream at an amazing ice cream place. It was just a super fun time. We had a great time. It was tons and tons of fun. All right, here's some comments from some of those the folks that are watching today.
Stu's saying Summit was awesome. Renee saying the summit was incredible. Karen saying, glad I got my ticket to the summit. It was so much fun. Diane Arnold saying summit was amazing. A great and exhausting weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, because David F. is saying, I still trying to recover for the weekend. Renee saying fun times at Sun and Fun. Karen saying hi. It was hot, but still fun.
Yep.
Right? And Jennifer saying, Dave's work is so expressive. I had so much fun chatting with him about it.
You know, it was nice when I announced to the crowd that Dave was there and all, everybody cheered.
Yeah.
Like, KelbyOne members know him from his classes on here, and he's just so good. And then, like, when I said Dave's here, and they're like, hey, everybody was cheering and stuff. It was fun. It was a really neat moment. All right. We got some shout outs, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring our special guests in here.
Yeah.
We've got Marc and Wayne from the Muench workshops. And the Muench workshops, that's the folks that I went to Antarctica with.
Yeah.
And man, do they run an incredible workshop. I've talked to them about them at length and stuff, but absolutely they've got a very, very interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people know about. And so if you are about the technology in your camera and noise keeps you up at night, stick around after the break.
Because
we're going to bring Marc and Wayne on.
Might not keep you up at night anymore.
Yeah, will not keep you up at night anymore. Let's give a couple of quick shout-outs, and we're going to take a short break.
Yeah, James Gordon-Patterson saying hi from Phoenix. We got Tina saying hi all the way from Oregon. Josh saying hi from Washington, D.C. Ann saying hi from California. Amy saying hi from Maryland. Dean saying hi from Missouri. Doug saying hi from Iowa. Barbara saying hi from California. We got people joining us all over the world. But we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we'll be talking about ISO.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back. We're live here on the grid.
Hey everyone, I am professional photographer Ian Plant, and in this course, I am going to be talking about removing distractions. And there's plenty of distractions in our everyday lives that keep our focus away from our passion for photography. And you definitely want to get rid of those distractions, but that's not really the focus of what I'm going to be talking about in this course. I'm going to be talking about removing distractions from your photos. And these are the things that pull the viewer's attention away from what's important in your compositions. So in this class, I am going to offer some practical tips for spotting potential distractions and eliminating them before you take the photo. But the main focus of this course is going to be on mitigating or eliminating any distractions that show up in your photos after the fact. I'm going to show you how to use the digital darkroom to zap those pesky distractions out of existence and to let the clarity of your creative vision shine through. Make sure to check out my new course on removing distractions over at KelbyOne.com.
Have you been using the AI stuff in Lightroom and Photoshop? If you haven't, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's incredible. But it scares the living heck out of me, and I'm not sure I can use it and sleep at night. Which is why I did a brand new class for you. Here's what we've done. I'm going to take you through Lightroom. I'm going to take you through Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to use it all. Have you been using the AI stuff in Lightroom and Photoshop? If you haven't, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's incredible. But it scares the living heck out of me, and I'm not sure I can use it and sleep at night. Which is why I did a brand new class for you. Here's what we've done. I'm going to take you through Lightroom. I'm going to take you through Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to use it all. And then I'm going to show you how to use it where you don't feel dirty. I'm telling you guys, there is magic here. There is productivity gains that you can get that are just going to blow your mind. It's incredible. I'm going to show you how to do the things that you could have done yourself in Photoshop that might have taken hours or weeks or maybe skill you don't quite have yet, and have it done in 12 seconds. Catch my brand new class on how to use Lightroom and Photoshop's AI features and still sleep at night. It's only here at KelbyOne.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Hey everybody, we are back live on the grid. Scott and Erik are here, and we have Marc and Wayne from the Muench workshops here, and they're going to talk to you about something that doesn't get talked about a lot, right? And it's something that changed in cameras about 2020.
Yeah, a little before that. I mean,
Yeah.
Sony was the first one to really kind of open this can.
But I don't think people really realize about this. So we're going to start off with Marc. We're going to turn it over to Marc. So Marc, take it away. Tell us what happened that changed in photography.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Good to meet both of you. Good to be here. And yeah, Wayne and I are going to kind of nerd out for a little bit. It is an odd topic, but I can't tell you how much I learned researching it. And so, first of all, I want to introduce my good friend and fellow photography workshop instructor, Mr. Wayne Suggs. Hey, Wayne.
How's it going? Erik and Scott, how you doing?
Hey, Wayne.
So thank you, by the way, Scott. You really talked us up quite a bit on the Antarctic trip. I had to, of course, use that as my background. We had a great time with you there. You are the amazing presenter. So thank you for schooling us all on that, and all your words of wisdom. So today is a little odd. I'm going to first go into this, but share a screen here. But I want to just tell you that Wayne brought this up, I don't know, maybe about 2020. And he said, Marc, there's this thing I want to talk to you about. And it's kind of weird, but it's actually where the ISO in your camera doesn't need to be set. And he said it's called ISO invariance. And I went, oh, you mean ISO irrelevant? So I thought it was just odd. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I learned in researching this since the moment he blew my mind with this concept. So first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is. I'm going to go through this kind of quick because it's a lot of mumbo jumbo and we want to get to the heart of the matter. But the first thing is it refers to a property of a modern camera sensor where the quality of light from an image remains largely unaffected whether brightness adjustments are made during capture, meaning ISO, or later in post-processing. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. Anyways, I think, and what I learned is that kind of misses one of the key ingredients in all image capture, that is light. We'll get to more of that in a minute. ISO invariance means, or it is basically talking about clipping. And so just as we all kind of know, if you've been around photography a little bit, not enough light or insufficient light causes shadows to clip. Excessive light, too much light, causes the highlights to clip. Okay, so in order to get that perfect exposure, there's all this stuff you learn, but I'm going to try and speed this up again because there's a lot of topics and I want you to understand just a little bit about each one of the topics, the vocabulary of the camera. And that's going to be the sensor, the digitizer, dynamic range, clipping, and bit depth. That's the one that gets away from everybody. So sensor, well, that's pretty easy. It converts light into an analog electrical signal. Yay, it's a great job it has. But it also relies on the digitizer. All right, that's another part that's required in a camera because that converts an analog signal into a digital format. And so those two elements have to work together. And then you have dynamic range, which refers to the difference between the brightest and the darkest parts of a scene, right? So black, black, white, white, how much gradation do you have in there? And on a typical modern camera, it's about 14 stops, depending on which camera you own. So we're going to make sure you guys know that. Clipping is kind of interesting because, as I mentioned, when the exposure settings are too dark, the shadows can clip. When the exposure settings are too bright, the highlights can clip. All right. But when the scene's contrast ratio exceeds the digitizer, not the sensor, the dynamic range, both shadows and highlights are clipped. Okay. So it's that sensor and that digitizer that are working together to create the problem, or in essence, the clipping. Clipping can also be brought in by post-processing. So, you move one of those sliders too far and now you have a blown out highlight or maybe a dark shadow. Okay, so that's clipping. I know I'm going quick, but hang in there. I'm not going to read all this, but bit depth is really a cool part of this whole presentation, which you have to get your head on around. Imagine a 1-bit file, it's either black or white, right? Not much gradation in there. It's not until you get to 8 bits that you have a continuous tone bit depth to create a continuous tone image, all right? And that's the important part because you need all those gradations, you need all that depth. How is bit depth important? Well, bit depth is really important because it actually gets deeper and deeper the more light you put on the sensor. And that's where the old term exposed to the right came from, right? Because that's when you gave it enough exposure so that you could fill up all the highlights without clipping them, and then have that extra bit depth, all right? And that's what this is all about, really, is, you know, you got a scene and you want to give it as much light with your shutter speed, maybe aperture, until that histogram's showing up way on the right, but you haven't clipped. It's not that easy, actually. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to make that easier. And so here's an interesting fact, is that it's only the shutter speed and aperture that control the light. ISO only amplifies the brightness, so it's not controlling the light. And that was kind of interesting. I knew that, but I didn't really get it until I started looking at this more carefully. So if you want to expose more to the right, you do have shutter speed and aperture to operate those two features, or that aspect only. And then the whole concept of ISO invariance is that, do you need to move that ISO up or not? Well, that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. So exposing to the right is a histogram like this, right? It kind of shoves all that data over to the right towards the highlights. Highlights are on the right, shadows are on the left. And so what I've learned, and what this whole thing has come down to, is that that's really not the best approach. And what you want to do is typically underexpose a little bit. And here's the key feature, is that it's, if you don't have really dark darks, then you can underexpose that one stop, or even more, as Wayne's going to show you in a minute. All right. So camera noise, really, it's kind of cool. It's actually, has to do with light. And as I looked at more at light, I realized that we don't really know. Light hasn't been decided whether it's a wavelength or a particle. And so it's still being discovered what's going on with light. And so it's noise is created by that random light that, or photons that strike the sensor. And so when you increase the ISO, you amplify that noise, which is basically the randomness of photons hitting the sensor. It's kind of crazy. And then the more you do that, it lowers your signal to noise ratio. So then we all see noise. And that's what we end up with. If you think about it and you raise the ISO too much, you end up with too much noise. And so we're all trying to knock down that noise. But there's a couple of reasons, a couple of ways you can get around that. All right, so basically, this is the one that really blew my mind, is that you have this concept of this ISO invariance, and then you have this dual gain sensor. And that really was, what do you mean dual gain? How does that possibly work? Well, so the interesting part is that a dual gain sensor has what's called two capacitors. And those two capacitors are actually working like buffers. And so one is capturing the low light, the other is capturing the brighter lights, okay? And when that brighter light is too much, you don't need that second capacitor, so it becomes a single gain sensor. Anything past a certain ISO on your camera will become a single gain sensor, which is for everything in low light. That's the interesting part. So on most cameras, like my Nikon, I know I shoot a Nikon, I think Wayne does too still. Our dual gain sensor works up until about ISO 500. And that's where that capacitor shuts down, from what I understand. And then at that point, you're just using one capacitor for just the low light. All right. So how do you take advantage of this? Well, it's to get the most out of your camera, the greatest dynamic range, everything you can possibly get. You have to use your base ISO, which on my Nikon is 64, and then you have to give it enough light. And so in some cases, there are some cases where increasing the ISO in the camera makes a big difference, okay? And that's what we're going to show you in just a minute, and Wayne's got some great examples. This is kind of a great a bunch of rules I stick with now after knowing this. An evenly light scene, I just kind of expose to the right as much as I can. If there's little highlights like a cloud or something brighter in the scene, I might underexpose by a full stop. But if there's specular highlights, anything really bright, then I'm going to underexpose by 2 or more stops, depending on how bright those speculars are. All right. Then at low light, then I'm going to start when the light is really low, like at night. You're out there shooting stars. That's when I'm going to start increasing the ISO. All right. Now, then there's this wild thing out there called wildlife, and that's where the light's changing every second as you pan the camera. In that case, I'm using automatic ISO, and I just underexpose by 1 stop. Okay, that just brings you, those are kind of the rules I've set for myself. So here's that scene where it's low light, and I'm actually going to switch and change to Lightroom real quick because I think this shows it better. I'm going to share this scene right here, which was taken in the darks and at ISO 500. This is at night, and there's the same settings: f8, 8 seconds, f2.5 at 500 ISO. Okay, and here's 8 seconds, 2.5 at 4000 ISO. All right, so it's a little better, right? Yeah. But if you increase in post, this is the file you get. Yep. And does it look much different than the one where you increase the ISO? Here's where it makes a difference. Okay, so if I go in here and I'm looking at this thing at 100%, I think I'm at 100%. I might even take you to 200% to really show this in case you're not looking at the right detail I am. One on the right is the ISO 4000. One on the left is ISO 500, and I had to increase it about 3.5 stops to almost 4 stops. And where did that fall apart? Well, look at the detail in the rock. I don't know if you guys can see it, but maybe you can see it on a bigger screen. And when you go down here in the shadows, it's just starting to fall apart quite a bit. So in this case, in really low light, that's where you really want to increase your ISO and take advantage of that single gain in your camera. All right. So I know I went through it fast. I'm going to let Wayne take over here for a second.
Hey, Marc, before you toss her over to Wayne, and Wayne is a lovely person. I do not want to keep him waiting. But so just can you just recap that? So what you're saying is, I just want to make sure that I'm with you here, is you are shooting intentionally, you're underexposing. Mm-hmm. So exposure-wise, you're underexposing, but you're cranking up the ISO.
Right. In the one on the left here.
Right. And
so those are the stars. That's the star shot. And again, this is the star shot before I post-process it.
And he's cranking up the exposure value in post. You can
in
do it
post,
in camera
right? In
or
post,
in post.
right? He's cranking it way up
all the time.
So there's, I don't know, can you see the tools over here? Okay, so there's the histogram. Look at that thing. It's like down in a rabbit hole.
It's night.
It's night, man. And here it is after post. Right, so I increased, what is that, 3 stops, went up in the shadows just to lighten up, the shadows.
Well, why this is so interesting is so long we've been saying, look, if you open up the shadows, you're going to wind up seeing whatever noise is in the camera, you're going to amplify it.
Right.
But that's what makes this so interesting is you're not, it doesn't seem to be amplifying the noise in the image, even though you took it from how many stops did you go up there? Like 3 stops.
That's 3 stops underexposed, and maybe probably 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that came from cameras changed the way the analog to digital conversion happened, moved it closer to the sensor. But all you need to know is you don't have to worry about, you can boost it in post or boost it in your camera, just underexpose a little bit and you'll have that range.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, all except for this shot right here, the night shot.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is that if you shoot this night shot and you want the land, a file for the land, and this is what we do often, we'll take the stars at 500 ISO, and then we'll take the land shot at 2 or 4,000 ISO, because that's where you're taking advantage of that digitizer and sensor ISO setting, because you're actually amplifying some of the light before it hits the digitizer. It's really weird, but that makes a difference, because if you look at those two files, I don't know if it shows 100%, but nevertheless, you look at the two files, and again, the one on the left is ISO 500, and you can see the detail in the rock here.
Yep.
Is the ISO 4000. You're just getting much more detail out of it than you are in the ISO 500. And that's because when you cram everything down there in that bit depth scale, what you're doing is you're taking out the lower bit depth part of the sensor. It goes from 4 stops up to however many stops of latitude. And so you're expanding that lower bit depth part of the sensor to this mud that you see on the left.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? So you're losing color, you're losing detail, and all that jazz. Whereas when you use the ISO in the camera, then you're actually capturing some of that, because you're amplifying the light in camera. That's the place where it really matters for photography. And I'll do this real quick. I was going to show it at the end, but I'll just show you now. This is a wildlife setting. Okay, this one's 500 ISO, right? Hello, that's kind of dark.
Yep.
This one is ISO 4000, so same little birdie out there. And so what I did is I processed them so they look alike. Take these two, share it. Okay. Do they look that different? Not really. And this is why it doesn't make as big a difference in scenes when there's more light. At night, there's very little light. And so the cool thing about what Wayne's going to show you is just how that works. And he's got some great examples, but I just thought these two items would help you see it a little better. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wayne Suggs.
All right. So the cool thing is about this is way back in 2013, I had got a new Nikon. It was a Nikon D800, and I actually got the D800E. But this was one of the very first, in 2013, one of the very first ISO invariant cameras. Didn't have the dual gain sensor yet, but the cool thing was it was ISO invariant. I didn't know that. All I knew is in playing around with this camera is I could basically expose my image to protect those highlights. And even though the shadows were down slightly, I could bring those up in post. And I was repeatedly told that my images were underexposed on the raw file, but for whatever reason, my images looked great. And so I just kept doing it. And I was embarrassed to bring this up because we were teaching in our workshops, ETTR, exposed to the right, exposed to the right. And so finally I brought it up and I began teaching this. And we had somebody on our workshop, one of these engineer types. Thank you, Erik, for doing this. Erik said, well, why? I said, man, I have no idea. It just works. And ISO invariance became a thing in about 2020. Everybody was talking about it. But you had these two camps where you have the one camp was ETTR, exposing to the right. You have to expose to the right. And then you have the other camp was saying ISO doesn't matter, ISO invariance. And what Marc and I are saying, they're both a little bit wrong. And I'm going to go ahead and prove that. I'm going to just share my screen here. And
I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I've studied
Wayne
this
for the
stuff.
win.
I've done these comparisons. Like, it really doesn't matter. The truth is in the middle. Put it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I've done here is Marc and I were talking about it. And Marc said, why don't you just get a statue and put it in your garden and it's white and it'll be the perfect model. So let's think about maybe like a bighorn sheep, like the butt of a bighorn is super white, or you have this, you have a white-tailed deer, the ears are really white and the nose is white. Even though your histogram on your camera is telling you that you're exposing properly, sometimes those are not exposed properly. So this first image right here, what we're going to look at, we're looking at, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We
Okay,
see it
good.
fine. Yep.
So this first image here that we're looking at, this is exposing to the right. You look at the histogram up here, and this histogram is going to play a big part in what we're teaching here. So we're really going to pay attention to our histogram. This is exposing to the right. But if I turn on my clipping on my highlights, even though my histogram said it wasn't clipped, I still have a little bit of it clipped. And if I bring down that exposure all the way, and I zoom in here 100%, you can see there's no detail in the knee of this statue, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, if I go to this example, this next example, this is, if you look at my exposure, I brought this down -1 stop. So I overexposed this 1 stop, and it just keeps getting worse. I can't get those highlights back. Once you lose them, they're gone. Yeah. This is 2 stops over. This is 3 stops over. And look at the detail. You can see 3 stops. There's no way I can ever get this back. Even if I take this all the way down, it's just completely blown out. And it's so funny because even the histogram, it's not showing any clipping at 3 stops. It's just, there's no detail. So this is the way I shoot. I'm going to go in here, and with the scene like this, I want to protect those highlights. If you look at my exposure, I've I've brought the exposure slider up 1 because I underexposed by 1 stop. Okay, so now if I want to, if I zoom in on the knee, okay, and I bring that exposure slider down, now I have this beautiful detail that I can work with selectively in post to make sure that all the detail is going to be within this scene. So let's keep going with this. What if I underexpose by 2 stops? We'll go to 2 stops. Or I'm sorry, let me go to there. Come on, click on there. There's 2 stops. And now you can see my exposures too. The histogram, we look at the histogram, it looks exactly the same as the one that I exposed to the right on. If we go to 3 stops, the histogram still looks the same. In other words, I'm not losing that much bit depth. I can still use this image, and it's going to be great. But what if we go 4 stops? And again, I've already brought all this up in post to save time.
Right.
Now look at the histogram. The histogram is slowly starting to get these peaks and valleys. What if we go 5 stops? It's a little bit, this one here, 5 stops underexposed. Let's bring this all the way down to 0. Look how dark that image is. If I shot this at 5 stops underexposed, I could still use this image. It's still usable, but I would never shoot it that dark because I'm losing bit depth and you're beginning to get these valleys and peaks in the histogram. Let's really exaggerate that histogram. Let's go 6 stops. Let's let that render. You can see the valleys and peaks starting to happen. 7 stops.
This is the part that blew my mind. Yeah, look at that.
Look at the histogram. The bit depth is completely just separating. And now let's go 8 stops, underexposed. And
why not go all the way?
Really? Let's go.
You know what? 9 stops. Let's just go for it. Look at the histogram. More importantly, look at the crap that's going on in the image itself. The bit depth is completely broken down. Well, look at that. The level of noise and color noise in this image, it's non-recoverable. If I reset this, let's go to 0. This is what the image looked like when I took the photograph at 20,000th of a second. To get that dark.
This is like that chart I was showing you guys earlier that showed the bit depth decrease in the shadows. So it's like taking that little 4 bits of depth and expanding it out to fill in the whole dynamic range. And that's what you're seeing, is you're seeing the lack of color, the lack of detail, the lack of everything, because it only has lower bit depth.
Absolutely. And so now let's go into our library and let's do this. Let's put this into a real world scenario here. Now this bull moose here, in my opinion, I properly exposed this. I underexposed it using manual mode and I brought my exposure compensation down 2 stops. And the reason why is because that beautiful sun that's filtering through those amazing trees above this bull moose, I wanted to make sure that I had that detail in there. And the exposing to the right cam will tell you anytime you shoot snow, you should absolutely always expose to the right because you don't want ugly gray snow. I don't think the snow in this image is ugly at all.
No, it's
I
beautiful.
absolutely love the highlights. Those nice, beautiful warm tones. Look at the shadows, those beautiful cool tones in the shadows. And the raw file of this image, the bull moose, was actually just completely black. And I'm able to bring up those shadows separately on the moose to make him look completely natural. And it's got beautiful detail in the moose. So anyway, this is a perfect example of basically using, ISO invariants to your benefit. This image here of this lynx, I wish I could go back and retake this photograph, because this image I shot at 2/3 of a stop underexposed using exposure compensation. Yet look at my snow. My snow's blown out. I wish I would have done 2 stops underexposed on this. I still love the photograph. I think it's cool. Love the lynx. I love, what the lynx is doing here in the image. It's beautiful. But if I could take it back, right? And we all have those. And this landscape photograph taken in white sands, this is 3 stops underexposed. And I'm able to bring up those shadows. But if I would have taken this to 4 stops, I think the shadows may have started to get a little ugly on this photograph. But I wanted to make sure that my sky, had that beautiful detail in it. There's no way you're ever going to get the highlights from being blown in the sun, but that's okay. It looks completely natural. Let's go to this image. This photograph of the sandhill crane in Bosque del Apache, 2 stops underexposed using exposure compensation. And this little image here that I took of this duck, it's a northern shoveler, and again, 3 stops underexposed, but just on the duck itself. And let's go ahead and use this as an example. I'm going to go ahead and go to the raw file. We'll go here, and you can see this is the raw file. This is the way it started out. And I'm going to process this image real quick, so that way everybody can see how to use, ISO invariants, to your benefit. So let me go in here to develop.
What's kind of neat is if you guys look at that histogram, this is the sign I was showing example of what I was talking about earlier. The blacks aren't clipped.
No.
And that's the key. That's why you can underexpose so much, as long as you don't clip them blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I'll go into the tone curve first. I'm going to just go ahead and bring up highlights a bit in here. Not much, about right there. And I'm going to add a little bit of contrast. There we go. That's good enough. And I'm going to go to my basic. I'm going to bring up shadows slightly. And I'm going to bring up whites a little bit. There we go. Now, I want to do this very selectively. I don't want to do this globally. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to use just object selection. And I'm going to paint over this duck and make an amazing selection.
Bada boom. Boom.
There we go. And now I'm going to bring up the shadows on that guy. Take them all the way up to 100. Let's bring up the whites a little bit. There we go. And let's do this right. Sorry about it. I'm going to go down here to texture. I'm going to add a little contrast to the guy, just a little bit, and right in there. And why not go all the way? Let's go ahead and throw a crop on this guy. Let's do a 16:9, and we'll pull this up. Make sure we capture all that great water that's splashing up there and go there. Let's call that good. And there we go. That's ISO invariance at its best of why we want to use it. And I'll go back to, I'll reset this. That was the original. Pretty darn amazing.
Wow. Hey, couple things. Got some questions and comments coming in. I love this one. Jack says, I was working while listening to you guys in the background. but then I stopped working to give you guys my full attention. He means you guys, not me and Erik. This was such great information that I couldn't let it go to waste. So that's from Jack. Let's see. Oh, Raymond wants to know, and I think this is going back to when Marc was showing the two images, one shot at 500 ISO, one shot at 4,000. Are you stacking those images then in Photoshop?
Good question. Yeah, typically when we do this process, I'll shoot one for the stars, and then I'll stack that with another one for the land.
Right.
Yeah.
And you shot these on a tripod, so it's easy.
Yeah,
you put them
it's
in
easy.
Photoshop. As long as you paste them right on top of each other, they'll pin register to each other. They'll be probably perfectly aligned.
Perfectly aligned. It's very, very
James
easy.
is asking, he says, and now we have great software to deal with noise like Topaz Photo AI and DxO
we
Pure
do.
Raw. And Erik and I use On One No Noise. But yeah, it's a
All
different
great.
age of noise. But I like the idea of not having to reduce noise. If you already have the noise in a pretty good spot, then you're in pretty good shape.
Yes.
Also, Jess says, Scott, thank you for introducing me to Pepsi Black. So then down in Antarctica in Ushuaia, we went to, Marc took us out to a wonderful restaurant, and Wayne was there. We were all there, and it was, and they brought me, they don't have Coke Zero, and they don't have Pepsi Max or Pepsi One. They have Pepsi Black. It's the same thing in a different can, but quite tasty. So, and Jess is a superstar, man. That is one organized person.
Yeah.
She's like our
definitely.
Christina or our Julia. You guys are very lucky to have her working with your team.
We are. Yep.
Well,
Right.
I'll tell you this, Scott, watching this stuff, this is why we shoot the way we shoot. And that is, at the end of the day, exposed to the right is so like 2000 and late. It's like, it's way old school.
Yes, yeah,
Like and that's where at the end of the day, if you underexpose, you can bring it back, but then you have to watch that you don't underexpose, I think, too much.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Well,
and
of course,
that's
it's like anything.
But underexposing a little bit will help a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the point here.
Yeah, and that's you guys made a great point with some really, really great examples. By the way, Wayne, nice photos there, buddy.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful, beautiful images. Beautiful,
Hey,
gorgeous.
what about my Blue Jay? Hello?
Your Blue Jay was stunning. Stunning. It was very, very blue.
Can we pull Marc's Blue Jay up later? I think that would be so much fun to critique that image. I would love that.
Yeah, we want you guys to stick around for the we're going to do them now. So everyone's been very patient.
Well, a great example. I
wait.
shot this image last week.
Oh,
of
yeah,
Blue
take a look at
Angels
Erik's
and the
screen
rocket,
here.
and I use that same technique that you're talking
Nice.
about. You can't
There you
get
go.
those exposures together, but you can if you use these exposure techniques. And then I can get the rocket launch and the Blue Angels, which were lit up by terrible,
Awful.
security lighting. But you can balance the two. And get the rocket and the Blue Angels in the same exposure.
Wow. All right.
There you go.
Well, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, stick around, guys. We're going to launch into a bunch of things. But thank you so much for that information. I think for a lot of people, this was a very, very, very eye-opening topic. So thank you guys for being willing to share that and have such great illustrations. Stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Nikon Ambassador Hilmar Smith, and I'm here at the KelbyOne Studios to teach you the art of creating with what you have. Today we'll be using 3 simple props. A chair, we have flowers, and we have things made of glass that you can find all over your house to push that creativity and create amazing pictures. Come and join me at KelbyOne.
Hey everybody, Kirk Nelson here from Pixel Pro Photography. I'm back down here at KelbyOne Studios, and I've got a fantastic course for you this time. We are talking all about developing brand new backgrounds for your images. If you've ever had an image that you've taken that you've discarded because that background wasn't what you wanted, bring it back. It is not dead. I'm telling you, you can resurrect those images because now we can take backgrounds and turn them into something special. We are going to go through so many different new features and functions within Photoshop. We'll use automated distraction removal. We'll use sky replacement. we'll use the generative fill plus the generative workspace to create all new backgrounds. We'll even create a do-it-yourself synthetic background using a bunch of different filters. We will take an image that's shot in a dusty old gymnasium and turn it into something worthy of an athlete's poster. You're not going to want to miss this one. Come check out my latest class at KelbyOne.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
All right, and we're back.
All right. Hey, I did find it's an iPhone picture, but this is one of the shots that we of the cellist that we had. So we had great light. This is just an iPhone shot. I didn't really have time to pull up one of my shots from my R6 II, and this was just we're prepping. This is before everyone got there. We're just kind of setting up and getting in place. So it's not the greatest. Other people will have
next week.
We'll show you some pictures that are killer. That's just I had one on my iPhone as just a test. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me just get out of this junk. We're going to go and look at the blind photo critiques. Thanks to everybody for being very patient, but I wanted to make sure that they had time to show all these examples and stuff, which really drives that whole thing home. We're going to use the bridge. You know how much I love that
nowadays, and not have to worry about that stuff.
Right. And Erik, you need to stall for just a moment, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, no problem. So next week we'll be going over that. Remember, Lightroom conference is coming up in May 13th to 14th, and we'll see you there. And then,
the bridge has an error.
And then the bridge has an error.
Stupid bridge.
And you got to understand that the bridge will always have an error.
Do you know why? There's a reason why it's free.
It's the bridge.
It's the bridge. There's a reason why they don't charge you for the bridge.
Yep.
It's like, we'll just throw it in because it's so valuable.
Yep.
We'll throw it in free because it's great.
I'm excited for that conference next month, though. Like, Lightroom is just so powerful anymore.
Yeah, Lightroom every day gets more powerful.
Yes, I mean there's. I was just teaching about that. There's only a few times anymore you go over to Photoshop where it used to be
less and less.
Every year it's less and less and less.
Right.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I love just sticking to one program.
Oh yeah, I love sticking in and plus I do use a few plugins. I don't use a bunch.
Yes,
I do use
exactly.
a few,
Same
and
thing.
those come in very handy, and they run right inside of Lightroom. Let me at least get these first 5 done here. So. All right. So for those of you who are new to this, people have submitted images. We don't know their names or ask for their names
intentionally because we want to be really honest with you, tell you how it is without embarrassing.
Yeah, we don't want to embarrass anybody publicly, but we want to tell the truth. Because nobody else in photography will tell you the truth. Not your friends, not your neighbors, not your coworkers. No one's going to go, yeah, your stuff's not that great. You know, everyone tells you the same thing. You're the best thing that's ever happened to photography. So we're going to look at these images, and we'll start with these right here. Let's just take a quick look. And
here's the first one.
And Marc and Wayne, you guys will be asked to evaluate these as well.
All right.
And we'll just take a look at what we've got. These 3 here. Actually, let me try the bridge one more time. Just give me one more second. The bridge crashed on me earlier because that's what the bridge is best at. Oh boy, that went badly. Hold on.
Uh-oh. I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah, I don't even know. It went into a folder instead of opening in the bridge because it's the bridge. Let's try this one.
I think that worked.
There we go. It worked this time. All right, so here are our 3 images. Here we go. That's better. There's 1. There's number 2, and there's number 3. So I'll start off with this one. I don't know where to look. It's just
it's like cherry blossoms.
Yep, that's cherry blossoms.
Got
It's
it.
not a pretty picture of
Got
cherry
it.
blossoms. You're documenting that that's a cherry blossom, but it's not a very pretty picture. This one is it's some glasses on a book.
It's glasses on the book.
It's all right. I've
Yeah.
seen glasses before. I've seen old books before.
You're working the bokeh and all.
Yeah,
of
there's
them.
nothing
Great.
compelling. However, this one's pretty nice.
I like that
It's
one the
like a
best.
different
I like
photographer
that
took
one the
this
best.
one. I like this one. Guys, what do you think? Mark, Wayne?
I agree with you on this one. I think I would do some cropping on all three. This one especially, but that it's got, is that a snowflake or seed in his
It's a
mouth?
seed, and then there's snowflakes. I think kind of strewn
Nice.
throughout.
All right,
That
so
looks really cool.
let's do some cropping here. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, there's a lot of white space
there's
there.
just nothing over there.
And you could
I'm
maybe
thinking like I just first thought take out that whole fountain, as much of it as you can. What do you think, Wayne?
I personally don't dig the image much because I don't want to see the bird feeder. I want to see the bird off on its own to simplify the image over to the left, and just the snow falling with that beautiful blurred background and nothing but the bird. That's what I would love.
I bet you can take that bird feeder out too.
Oh yeah, I think you could take that bird feeder
I
out.
bet-
Well,
Yes,
it would take you a sec, but yeah. But so yeah, because let me put it this way: if we still keep the same like ratio and stuff, you're still going to have a lot of bird feeder in there.
See if that bird is over on the left in that simple background, right? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a fraction of a fraction.
All right.
Of a
Any
second.
thoughts on this thing?
Absolutely. So I would make the story of this image that one green, the leaf that's starting to come out, and put that in the right third of the frame, the bottom third, and crop it there.
That bud, is that a bud or is that
Oh,
the
a
bud up
maybe?
there.
I don't know
this
what it
Starting
is.
to leaf out.
Oh, that
Right
one
there.
right there.
Yeah, the bud.
And then you get that beautiful curvature of the flowers, kind of in that.
Yeah, you might have something there. Yeah, you might be able to pull something out of this, a rabbit out of a hat here.
There you go. Then go a little bit. There you go. Oh, that's looking good. Yes.
That's a lot better.
Mhm.
That's
There you go.
tremendously better. Because now you have a subject. It's
Now,
not
yeah,
just
there's an anchor,
100.
yeah.
Now you have a subject. You've got the nice blurry background. You've got separation from the background. And we might want to pull those highlights back a little too.
Beautiful bokeh.
All right. Well, then you saved that one, Wayne. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could use some cropping here as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the shape of the glasses and the diagonal of the book line, something could be done there. It almost looks like a face if you take out just the glasses and the tip of the book. I'm always looking for different shapes that show up that are unintentional. So in this case, if you cropped it down just to the glasses and the end of the book, maybe, I know it's a big crop, but I would just look at that first and see what I see.
All right. So you're talking about going in really tight.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. And then to the two eyes, keep coming down on the top. You want the glasses to almost become eyeballs. So it takes on the shape of a face.
That's better already.
Yeah.
I think this one might work as a square crop, though. I think maybe moving this up a little bit so you don't have that. I could have gone a little further.
Yeah.
A little more space on the right.
Yeah, but we get the idea. A little bit of cropping will save a lot of this. But
Yeah, cropping can help.
yeah,
a lot.
cropping is a craft,
Yes.
right? All right, let's go to number 2 here. We only have 2 images. You're supposed to
only
turn
2.
in 3. It says 3 in big letters, but they sent in 2. And this is number 1, and this is number 2.
Well, it's a nice time of day.
You were there.
You were there. That's about it.
You know, it's
It's the same thing. What am I looking?
yeah,
What am I looking at?
It's got a big, ugly, dead tree. Nothing more attractive than a dead tree. Now,
I think you're.
there are
seeing
certain
maybe-
dead trees that are amazing. That's not one of them.
I
That's
think
just a
maybe
dead
they're
tree.
Seeing like is that a bird on top of the dead tree?
I
Looks
don't know.
like
It is a
speck.
bird. Yeah, it's a bird. But
It is bird. Maybe.
I don't
but
know.
It's just
Guys?
nothing burger.
it's a nothing
Yeah.
burger.
That bird is hard to tell that it's not a branch.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it's just cropped in the wrong place. So yeah, it's hard. You know, when it's 2/3 sky and there's not much texture in the sky, yeah, I would have to slide past this one in my library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, those need a lot of work.
But at least you're going out at the right time.
You got
to
time of day is
subject,
okay,
though.
but
you need something for us to look at.
yeah, we need an anchor. Where am I supposed to look at? Like what? It's just kind of like you went to a scene and well, here's the scene, but you didn't show us what the subject was.
And it probably was beautiful when you were there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it probably looked nice if
seeing
you're
this
standing
wide,
there.
Vast 3D world, and we're seeing a 2-dimensional world that has nothing to look at.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. I tell you, nothing I love more than sewage.
Sewage pouring out in the long exposure.
I'll tell you, I think this is a good choice for
long exposure sewage.
All right, so let's start here. On this one, I mean, if you wanted to save it, it's going to take some time to get rid of these branches that are not helping your photo at all. I would ask yourself this, the same question that Henry Matisse, the famous artist, asks. If an element in your image isn't helping the image, then it can only be hurting it.
Yes.
Do you think that stick and the stick running across the bird's body and right under his beak is helping the photo? If not, that would not be in the photo. It would be going way, way back. So, guys, thoughts?
And I honestly think, an image like this, there's a beautiful way of making order out of chaos. And there's a lot of chaos going on in this. And there's no way to make any order out of the scene without a whole lot of getting rid of a lot of stuff in there. And that would be, kind of a waste of time, in my opinion. But yeah, as Luke Dre would say, no matter what you say, he's with Muench Workshops. He would say, this is like rolling a turd in glitter. And so, yeah.
You think that's rolling a turd? Let's take a look at this one.
Try that accent again there, Wayne.
It's like rolling a turd in glitter.
Yeah, you keep working on it.
I'll try.
We're going to send you to England.
This one is a semi-long exposure of sewage. Okay. And what are your thoughts here, guys?
I'd say the same. It's just the opposite. Like even the wing position, like when you get into bird photography, you're going to critique every little thing. Mm-hmm. And the wings have to be in a good spot. And these are close, but the way the top wing is tilted down, you're kind of shortening the wing.
Yep.
And then, of course, his left wing is covered by sticks. So, to get these shots, it's about time. You've got to put in your time. You got to get that bird away from everything else.
Got some masking problems.
How about masking problems? You got white.
There you go.
You got white. It's like you drew around it with a white magic marker. Look at this.
Yeah, that's you got to take more of Scott's classes.
Yeah.
Or come to our Muench workshop. We got a bunch of ways to get around that.
Hey, by the way, since we mentioned that, where can people go to learn about your workshops? Your workshops are incredible. What your biggest problem with your workshops is? They're always sold out. They're freaking sold out. I was talking to them on the break, and I said, "Hey, so where's your next workshop? Monument Valley. Any seats left? No. Well, how about after that? What's next? Oh, then we're going to Ireland. Any seats left? No."
Well,
Look at
like a couple
sold
there.
out. Now you could go to New Zealand.
You can go like right now and go to Patagonia.
Patagonia. You can get on a plane right now.
Wow. But I'm telling you guys, I went on one of their workshops as a guest instructor, and you're not going to find you're not going to find a better run, a more interesting, and well taken care of at a workshop at a level that I don't think very many people in this industry have ever done. You guys are the best, and it's what an experience. Look at all these awesome places.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot of places coming up, and then we got room on the Grand Canyon. Come join us down the Colorado River.
Wow.
We're going to photograph whales and bears in Alaska. We still have a couple places, still things to come.
Wow.
And that one right there, that Greenland Svalbard, I got to tell you, it's a place that only a few ships have ever been. And so it took us like a year to get a permit from Greenland, which is still not a U.S. state. So to get there, you have to chart water. So it's a hard to get place, but man, it was unbelievably gorgeous. Kind of a new world.
That's on the bucket list right there.
Yeah, that's a bucket list one, right? Wow. All right, so they can go. Well, number one, they should definitely follow you on Instagram. But the website is muenchworkshops.com. So right there, muenchworkshops.com. Do you have a mailing list they can get on?
Yeah, top of the page. You can click there and sign up, and we'll put you on the mailing list. And we're improving the mailing list. We're not going to be KelbyOne, but we are going to have a few more webinars, just going through instructional lessons and such. You can click the free photography magazine button there.
Hey, by the way, that magazine's very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of our clients' pictures on the cover in Svalbard, and so we took a little time to congratulate them and showcase their work. It's a fun magazine to put together. Not much is printed anymore. You guys know how that
right.
industry
Sure.
died. So It was fun to print something.
Wow, great. Well, congratulations. Go sign up. Request the magazine, by the way, but make sure that you get on their mailing list because they have just amazing workshops. So, all right, let's move on here. Let's take a look at this next one. All right.
All right.
The famous tilted earth shot where I'm surprised the water stayed up there. It looks like it's all going to roll off to the left and off the side of the earth, the edge of the earth.
Why does it matter? 2 dimensions,
And
3-dimensional.
that's up there. That's a couple of bears. All right, let's start with the first one. All right, it looks like a nice vacation shot. You were on vacation, and it was night.
It's a very nice shot.
It's a very nice shot to show that you went there on vacation.
Yeah.
It's nicely exposed. You got a decent sky behind you. Got a nice boat there. It's a nice shot. But it feels like a vacation photo.
Out of the 3, it's the
and this one feels like a overprocessed vacation. Everything's kind of crunchy.
This is another one, like the other landscape. Like you don't know where to look. You're not sure what you're supposed to be focused on. I know you're seeing the beautiful color in the sky that's overprocessed now.
Yeah,
but it's just like,
I think you're relying on the sky to pull the wagon here. And it's crooked, which you know how we feel about that. And then this one's just kind of I know that it was exciting seeing the bears, the 3 bears, and the salmon jumping in the whole 9 yards. But it's that chaos thing again. There's a lot of stuff
not
going
doing
on.
Anything interesting?
Yeah, you only have one bear that's got decent light on him.
Yeah.
If you could find a way to crop that bear and the salmon in to one photo, you might have something.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what do you think?
That. Maybe. It's still not doing much.
So I'll go first, Mark. So that first image, if we could go back to that one. Yep. I just think there's way too much water, too much negative space.
Yeah.
Needs to be cropped at the bottom, and the boat on the left is way too close to the left side of the frame. You need more negative space on the left. And, and again, it is a bit vacation-y, and anyway, we're not supposed to know who these are, but you put your watermark on the photograph.
Yep. If they do that, I don't say their name, but
I can't do anything if you do that.
Yeah. What about this one?
I see a picture in here, and it's that beautiful shoreline where the water is, and all you have to do is crop way into that. That's the scene. That line is what we like, landscape photographers like to find in nature. That's not only a leading line, but it's also just shows contrast. So you'd have to crop in like half your double your focal length to get into what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's where the shot is, in my opinion. And then, the clouds are, there's a lot of other issues with this, as you guys mentioned so well.
Yeah.
So it's just like you were saying earlier, Erik, you got to find your subject. In this case, I think it's there. It's that shoreline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't. It won't let me crop it when I go to Camera Raw. It is in a color mode that Camera Raw by itself doesn't support. Let me see if this one will let me open it. Nope.
No.
This one's not letting me do either.
There's 3 fish and a gull.
Yeah.
That would be the title.
It's 4 fish, Mark.
4?
Oh, there's 5. I see 3.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's some fish jumping on the other side. It's a whole circus.
There's a circus going on.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
All right. Well, all right. So we take a good look at it. Let's take a look at number 5. All right.
Thumbnails look good.
Kind of abstracty.
I like
this
that.
next one.
Yeah.
I really
love
like
that.
this one. I really like it. Now,
I've known the subject.
In the studio, it looks a little blown out. On my laptop, it looks perfectly exposed.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
I like that.
And this one,
that's interesting.
it's
I like
interesting.
that.
It's a little busy, but it's not bad. This person is I think, trying to work with shapes, which I like.
the
They're trying to do
geometry,
some really neat
shapes,
stuff
yeah.
with shapes. This one is interesting. Let me make it bigger by opening
Very
the camera
interesting.
raw. Yeah, so that's nice and big. And I think that, I'm not even sure what it is, but I like it.
That's what I was wondering myself.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like it.
I love the colors.
And
I
that's a
love
good
the
thing in
shapes. They all
photography.
work together well. What do you think of this one?
I love it. One of my favorite pictures of all time is Arnold Newman's shot.
Oh, yeah, at the Steinway?
And this just reminded me of that, but yeah, the Steinway.
Yeah.
So, it just has that kind of graphic element to it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
This one I'm kind of stuck with because I like that they're
that's
playing
the
with
one you're
shapes. It
kinda
just looks like there's
indifferent with,
it feels like a bit chaotic as well.
I think if it wasn't so grungy a bit and it had less contrast, it would really help the scene and not make it so busy looking.
Well, let's pull down a little bit of the contrast. And that's
Helps it already, yeah.
Yeah.
let me pull a
It's a little
little of the
crunchy.
blacks out. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks a little better. Yeah, I think it was a bit overly, but these are pretty good. I
mean,
think they're going in the right direction.
That's the
there.
right direction. I feel much
Yeah,
better
the
with
cup
that
and saucer is beautiful. I love
Yeah, that
part.
cup and saucer is a
Yeah.
showstopper.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
a good one.
all right. Let's take a
these
look. Let's
thumbnails look decent.
these have promise. The thumbnails look good. We can you can often tell if the thumbnails look good,
Yes.
the images are going to look good. If the
Yes.
thumbnails are bad,
Yeah.
boy, that's nice and crisp.
It's crisp. And that's like that last one where we had all the branches.
All
There's
right.
branches there, but they're not distracting.
I'm going to leave this to you guys because this is more of your territory. We'll start with this first one.
I'll start, I guess. I'm a little lost as to what's happening. I think it might be a branch in the foreground. It's causing it to look soft.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
And that's kind of interesting. And then he's got like a little feather coming out of the back of his head. And then he's got, Speed Racer stripes on. Cool little bird. It's just it's awkward at an angle. So compared to the other two had a lot more going on for them.
Yeah, like this one.
That one's nice. And then the one on the broken log, that one I love.
Yeah.
It's because of the spikes in the wood and where he's positioned. I might crop it a little different, maybe. I don't know. But that's my favorite of these.
Yeah, I think the colors work really well together. Like all of the colors here, the colors, the moss on the tree, then you've got the yellow in the spiky area, then you've got that subtle blue on the bird, and then you've got that green in it. I think all the colors, like it's a very harmonious color palette going on.
Yep.
It is.
You don't get to use that word every day. So these are pretty nice. I see what you're saying here. There's also this stick on the left that's kind of
that stick's gotta
distracting
go.
for no reason. But I'm with you. I think these two are strong. How do you guys feel about this one stick dangling down here,
Get
this
rid of it.
twig?
Get
Yeah,
rid
I
of
would.
that, and then
I think
even
I'd get
that
rid of
one
this
might
over
be-
here, and
yeah.
maybe this little one sticking up over here
Yeah.
isn't helping
Those
your
two-
case
those
because
two
it's a
gone,
very
it would
nice
be
picture.
Stronger.
Very nice.
Yeah, look at the bokeh in the background of that photograph. It's
Yeah, man.
absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It's
All right.
really
Very nice job. We're going to look at one more, then we're going to take a quick break. And let's see what we got here. All right. Somebody went on vacation.
Yeah. Congrats.
All right. Nice. This is a good vacation photo. There was a bridge where we were, and then we went, and there was this little church in like Kauai or something.
Palm trees.
And there's some palm trees, and we drove past that. And then, son of a gun, we saw like a hawk, because that's a hawk, right? We saw a hawk in a tree and decided to crop it as poorly as we possibly could. Comments, guys?
This is the only one real quick, that I thought was interesting with the lines, the support lines in the clouds. It's kind
I
of
know
a pattern in
those
there somewhere, but-
kind of work together, but
but it's hard because it's just an odd section of this magnificent bridge, and so it's not really showing the bridge very well. So, and that's just got a palm tree in front of the church. That is not where I would take that picture from.
No.
I mean, look at the beautiful light on the mountains behind and those warm lit clouds and everything going on here. There's so much that could be composed there. So I don't know. It's just the palm tree in the middle killed it.
Yep.
I think on that photograph, well, Mark's still there on that one, your best compositional tool is your feet. I think a famous photographer said that we all know and love. And, you know, getting into a better position. That's so important in this photograph.
Yep. Absolutely.
And you could see that you could get in a better position. You're seeing what's in
Yep.
front of you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, Wayne probably knows what kind of animal this is. It's some kind of a hawk, I think.
Is that an animal he's standing on? Did it catch something?
I don't know.
Looks like he maybe is.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Looks like a foot down there, maybe. No,
Right there. Oh,
Is that a harrier?
Sorry.
I don't know.
no, that was a good composition right there.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. I think
There's
it
something
is.
dead there.
Oh, it's a dove or something, or a
Oh.
bird. It's a different bird.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Bird.
Yowzer.
Yeah. Pigeon or something.
Yowzer.
I'll be darned.
All
So-
right. Any thoughts?
Don't crop that out. If
Absolutely. You know, this is a great story, and we can't even tell what the story is. And so I
Yeah.
think that's so important to tell the whole story of this image of what this bird caught, right? That's so important. And you've lost it.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Yeah.
Too
All
tight.
righty. Well, thanks for your comments. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're well over time. Hey, I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Kevin's here from California. Susan's here joining from Columbus, Ohio. Just starting to recover from the summit. Such an awesome time. Sherry's here from Germany. I'll be seeing Sherry in Venice next week, or about 8-9 days from now. She's joining me in my Venice workshop. Ira's here, says summit was great. We're still working on photos. Linda says, happy Wednesday, everybody. Greetings from North Carolina. Jen Beatty. Hey, Jen says, it will take me a year to go through all my photos from the summit. It was so much fun. Glad to see new and familiar faces. AJ says, the summit weekend was memorable and a photo experience you could never forget. Already looking forward to next year's summit. And Paul says, love the VIP Inner Circle weekend. All right. Lots of great comments. Thank you, guys. Cindy Cruz wants to know, what is the deadline for submitting photos for the blind critique? I cut them off at 11 a.m. today. So on Wednesday, basically what I do is I give a shout out the day before. So if you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, I put the, hey, upload your images. And we get hundreds of images every time. And people send me notes. Why didn't my pictures get to because there's just so many that come in.
We do that once a month.
We do it once a month. And Tim says he learns a ton from the blind critiques. Thank you, Tim. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Marc and Wayne are still going to be here. And I also want you to be able to see Marc and Wayne's individual work. So we're going to make sure that you get their Instagram pages because you want to follow them as well. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Kirk Nelson here from the Pixel Pro Photography. I'm back down here at KelbyOne Studios, and I've got a great course lined up for you this time. We are talking about killer tips and tricks updated for 2025 in the beta version of Photoshop. We are going to dig into the newest features, the ones that work really, really well, and it's going to change the way you approach design. Ones that kind of work, are still in development, but are a lot of fun to kick the tires of. We're going to dig into the AI craziness that's been taking it over and talk about all the generative primitive technology that's within the program. Now, we're gonna have a ton of fun with these. You're gonna learn a lot, and we're gonna really explore areas of the program that you probably haven't seen before, only at KelbyOne.com.
If you're like me, and I'm betting you are, you love Lightroom tips. I love them. I love those little things that make you faster and more efficient and more productive. I mean, that's why I run the website lightroomkillertips.com. Well, if you like this type of stuff, I got a brand new class where I've got 25 of my all-time favorite Lightroom tips. I got some brand new ones you've probably never seen before. I've got some ones that you remembered from years ago and you forgot about. I got some new twists. There's just so much stuff. We're gonna have a great time together. So come and check out my brand new class with 25 of my all-time favorite Lightroom tips, and it's exclusively here at KelbyOne.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
All right, we're back. We're on the break. We like to argue about camera brands. So anyway, we are back. We have Wayne, Suggs, and Marc Muench standing by. They're helping us with our blind critiques. And let's keep rolling on. Let's take a look at what we got here. See, I like this. I like this a lot. I love the colors. And I love the way the wall kind of has this swoopingness to it.
The light coming in.
Yeah, this is nice. Nice light, good subject. Wow.
That's cool.
That's interesting. There's one I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
You got beams of light literally coming in from window light. And
looks like the light is pushing her back.
Yeah, wow. That's
like
pretty
that.
cool. Yeah, this is okay. I want to see more of the other stuff.
Yeah, I like your other stuff.
Yeah, your people stuff is fantastic. I love the people stuff. Love
bad.
this. Love this. This is not bad. It's a nice sky. There's a subject. You got a foreground. You got a middle ground. You got a background. You got a sky.
I think when you see the other two,
the
that's
other
what
two, you're
happened
doing
with this
some
one.
really special stuff. What do you guys think?
I'm looking for the model in this one.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, you're good at it. Like, bring the model.
Let's put a subject in here. You have a heck of a shot.
There's some glows on the horizon on that.
And you guys like this one, right?
I think that's a beautiful photograph.
Isn't it beautiful?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
It's amazing.
This one
Yep.
too.
I love that one.
So interesting that pose. Like, come on.
Yeah,
This
it does.
is so intriguing.
It
really
is. It's intriguing. That's a great word for it.
And yeah, it does look like the light is kind of like pushing the subject, the model back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the
as
curve
a
of the jacket
landscape-
there, where the curve of the jacket like comes up to
Yeah.
Are you saying
And
something
as a
about this one?
as a landscape person looking at this, in my opinion, the shadows are way too clipped. You know, it looks a bit grungy by giving it that much contrast. And if it were me, I would have gotten up a little bit higher and not included the grass. To me, the grass, if you take your hand and put it over your arm and you just see the water, now the image is beautiful and the gate's out, honestly the subject, right?
Yep.
So it's hard. You can't get rid of the grass all the way and still keep enough room at the bottom. But if they would have just
you need some breathing
gotten
room
up
under
slightly
the gate.
higher,
Yeah.
correct? Yep.
We could remove the rest
Yeah,
of the
you
grass.
could trim
now.
that
Oh, yeah.
stuff out of there, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Looking better.
Yep. All right.
But you do have some glows
But
on there.
obviously a pretty good photographer. I like that. Let's go see this one. Here we go.
Here we go.
Nice.
Oh, I know what night that was. It was like May 5th or something, whenever that first aurora came.
Yes. We were on a
Or
plane
it's
to
just
Santorini.
Vegas.
Now that's a good looking dead tree.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow.
finally a good looking dead tree. And this is a famous looking dead
Yes,
tree,
famous.
right? This is in Joshua.
No.
It's
Death
up in
Valley?
the Inyo Mountains in California, across from the Sierra Nevada.
Near where you're thinking of, yes.
This is nice.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're
I'll
all-
leave it to you.
Oh, nice.
I've seen so many pictures of Bryce. I think this is kind of missing out. Like you got the tree, and then you got I forget the name of that pinnacle.
Thor's hammer, and then
Thor's hammer, yeah, something like that. It's just they're separated and they're fighting for the subject. So the light's beautiful. I've just literally cropped this thing in half, cropped the big tree out to find something out of this shot, this composition.
Yeah.
Agreed. How about this one? This is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Death Valley.
I seem to want the foreground a little brighter.
Yes,
Sure.
I would too.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's just a little post.
Yeah.
And this
But
one's-
hey, racetrack.
this one, the sky looks too bright.
Yes, it does, and too many too many stars.
Too
Starts
many
looking-
stars.
looking
Yeah.
like
So
noise.
Erik has a great trick for let me just select
Just
the
select the
sky
sky.
here, and then we're going to use Erik's trick, which is to lower texture. Is it
Yeah, lower texture. And
lower
then,
texture, and it will have
it'll
have
bring
less,
the Milky Way out, and then bring up your clarity.
and then
your
bring up the
dehaze.
clarity to enhance the Milky Way part of it.
Yeah. And then
And can you
dehaze
do me
it.
a favor and take down some of the blues, some of the aqua?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
It's too
Or more?
aqua. It's too aqua. Yeah, there we go. Now
I'm
push.
feeling better.
Throw some
And then a
magenta
little
into
more
it.
magenta, and you got
Yeah.
it.
There we go.
Yeah.
and let's
Yeah,
put
it's
them
much
side by
better.
side. You can see how much blue there
It was
was.
just aqua.
Oh, we did not darken the sky, which I think we probably ought to do a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go back to that sky layer.
And then I
yeah,
think maybe bring
darken
the
it.
whites up once you do
Yeah, that's much better.
do that.
And now the tree could go shadows up. You know,
Yeah.
we're on it. Why
All right.
not?
Yeah.
I'm
so
with
let's
you,
go
Marc.
here. Let's hit select subject.
I mean, I know what we could do with that tree if we had our little light, but something like that. Yeah, just get a little more life in there.
Yeah, a little pop.
There you go. But still
Much
a
better.
nice capture. And if
Yeah.
you know it's
If you get that,
if you
dead
get a good
tree-
picture,
Yep.
you can the post you can do wonder. Well, anyway, nicely done. Very good.
Yep.
Very
Yep,
good
yep.
stuff.
Thumbnails look good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're asking me,
You're gonna have problems with it. Yeah, I can.
I
say.
think you have a posing problem.
Yes, I was gonna say
the-
like
all-
it's a model posing problem.
All three of these have an awkwardness to them.
Mm-hmm.
That
does.
yeah, it's like, well, your lighting's not terrible here. While it's not killer, right? It's. I would like to see more shadows, you know, in her face. I'd like to see like it's almost flat light, right? Because the brightest thing really in the photo is her shoulder. Her face, it looks kind of flat. It doesn't have depth and dimension because you don't have really good shadows going on. Her leg looks awkward. The dress looks awkward. Putting that big dress in this small space also, this is just an awkward looking photo. This one, I think you're doing a lot of unflattering things to her arms. And I don't think that she would be happy to see, like, you generally want to flatter your subject. And I don't think any of the retouching that's going on here is flattering your subject. And I think that cropping wise, you need a little more space on the left over here. It's the pose. This is the best pose of the three. And the light is probably the best
I think that's the best
on this
photo,
one.
Yeah.
And this one is just it's kind of a dumb pose. I don't know what to say.
It's
just
awkward. Awkward.
It's another awkward pose. I think really working on your posing would be good. And
She's in that in between kind of like it's not
Yeah.
a striking a right pose. It's like in
Yeah.
between the pose.
yeah, it's I think if you're going to work, the lighting's good here. The lighting's pretty good here. I mean, lighting's very good here. The lighting's much better here because you have some shadows and depth and dimension on her face closest to the camera. You short lit her, so that's good. And this one's
But there's potential. There's potential.
There's potential. You had your model is okay. The dress is probably okay. The pose is bad. the lighting, like you're lighting up the rocks over here and the wind. You can see the reflections in the light. The lighting everything was working against you here. These other two, they're not bad. Guys, any thoughts?
I'm not a portrait photographer.
A lot of thoughts, but I can't go into all of them. But this one, for example, so she has kind of a little bit of a dreamy look, and if she's in that pose, you want to be able to tell a story from something they're doing. And just like we saw in that other scene with the light blowing her backwards, that was pretty cool because it was an unusual setting, an unusual scene, and for light to push you back, I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
So what story are we telling here? In my opinion, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the story is she's bored.
Yeah.
She's bored, the composition is boring.
We're bored.
So and that's what happens, right? If you don't have anything to say or do, then people just go right over it.
Yep. All right. Good advice. All right. We're getting close to the end here.
Huh.
Yikes. All right. This is just, you lit this with what? A flashlight, a car headlight? This lighting's terrible. It's a lot of horse butt. This is just all bad. This is just, don't send this in. Okay, let's talk about the other two.
It's a street.
That is a street.
With,
and you've got some nice...
I think you're trying to think of the lines, but it's not leading to anything.
Yeah. What's it lead to? Nothing.
And yeah, okay, so there's blossoms on trees.
Yep.
And
Wayne, Mark? I'm passing the baton.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah.
Yep, I'm passing the baton.
No, I mean, this is kind of cool. I like just the horn in the corner, but that's about it. It's hard because I think the nose might be a little soft. The eyes might be sharp. Not that really matters. The picture I see here would be far more graphic. Like the horns are very cool and the eyeball is really cool. And so I would crop in on the one horn on his left side and his eyeball in the lower left corner. So just the opposite side. Sorry, Scott.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said left. Sorry, let me...
Or his left, yeah.
Oh, gosh, what am I doing here? Why isn't this moving? There we go.
Yeah, like that. And then just bring it up, put that eyeball in the lower corner. Just kind of it's going to be more of a graphic scene, So keep on trucking, take more off the left. I mean, it's hard because there's so much to the face, but...
Hey, now that would have been an interesting picture.
Yeah.
If they had said this, I'd have been like, hey, that's pretty cool.
it's interesting.
Yeah, good call, Mark.
Yeah.
That's
Really nice.
That's a good crop. You saved that one, and there's no saving this.
That was definitely the most potential was the middle image.
Yeah, and this one, it's
I know what you're looking at.
Yes.
But it's just, there's nothing
It's
there.
pretty to see. It's not great to capture. And Erik has a name for a picture like this.
It's a nothing burger.
It's a nothing burger. All right. But hey, you know what? Mark did you a great service there. All right. Bird photography. And I leave this to you guys.
Yep.
This is awesome. This is so awesome, especially the second photograph. If you go to the next one, ISO invariance. If we only would have known about this, because the bird's blown out and there's no detail in the bird.
That's a crazy.
I think that is the monitor. I don't think that it is blown out really. Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing clipping. But I mean, would I pull back the highlights? I probably would. But no, it's on. You know what it is? It all depends on, unfortunately, what monitor you're looking at. But it's not really clipping. It's probably got a lot too much air around it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's hard because the background is so distracting. And
and then the background is distracting and light.
Yeah, I think it's so important. There we go. That really helps. And I would even maybe separate the bird and the fish, and then take out. I would clone some of the leaves back into the blue sky.
Yeah,
to
over here.
go with, yeah, exactly.
You know
So
what
that's
else?
not-
I don't know if this is going to work, but let's just go try. Wait, I don't want that. Let me just go and see. Lens blur. Let's just turn it on and then crank it up here. And just see if it.
That might help. Yep.
Yeah. Can you just hit select background and take it down like a half a stop or a
Sure,
quarter
yeah,
stop?
the background is bright. Let's go background. Let's take it down a bit. That's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting better.
It's getting better. But there's with the enhanced. But you know what? That still needs to be more out of focus than it is. It's still a distracting background. Even with like really doubling it up, it's not helping. Next shot is this one.
Amazing timing. But I would crop way in on that. Maybe
Yeah.
even, I don't know exact crop. I'd have to play with it, but interesting composition of the two of them.
They're buddies.
They're buddies.
Maybe a portrait would be good for this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, crop it tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me bring in the crop. Hit the letter X.
Yeah, you could do that.
And you could probably, is it unlocked? Yeah,
4 to 5.
You want a 4 to 5?
Yep.
It's all good.
There you go. Maybe a little higher in the frame.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
better.
bad.
That's
Yeah,
better.
that's cool.
Yeah, that came a long way.
That helped
A little
it lot.
warm, but yeah.
That one's a little awkward. It's,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
Attack. Okay, yeah, that was a little awkward. But hey, I think you gave them some good cropping advice there. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
were
good.
able to save that show. All right, last row here. Let's go and see what we got. Oh, now I see some nice looking thumbnails.
Yeah, bird feeder shots.
Bird feeder. Bird feeder. Oh, I like that one.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
of the bunch. I like
too. By
that.
far.
That's nice.
By far.
Yeah, but a lot of separation from the background, very crisp, and there's some action going on. This bird saying, "Hey, where's that $50 you owe me?" No, that one has some action. This one's probably my second favorite, but the bird on the top seems disengaged from what's going on with the other bird. Thoughts, guys?
I think he's the one on the top is laughing that the other one's going to smack into the board.
Yeah, he's heading straight for the board.
I would just crop the guy out because he looks kind of amazing with his wings out like
Yeah,
that. But that's a whole different shot.
and then
I think, yeah, my best advice to this photographer, for me personally with wildlife, I don't want to see man-made objects. Like the one that we like the best, obviously it has the dimensional board in it where we can see where the saw cut the board off, right? Now, what if you went in your backyard, you have the bird feeder, but you place some sticks into the ground that these birds can land on and they can, they can sit on, and you can take a photograph of this beautiful bokeh in the background on a natural subject, right? I think that would really help you a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow. All right. This is good. This is great advice, guys. This is awesome having you on here. This is so nice having them right there. This is great. Ooh, there's some promise here. Not necessarily this one, but it's the next one. I know right where that is. That's in Northern Ireland. Right, that is near the Dark Hedges, and that is the Dark Hedges. So this is on the property of the Dark Hedges. I shot that same house because it looks like a kind of a fairy tale looking house.
It does.
And then there's the Dark Hedges. Now this is the Dark Hedges when it's dark. So this is made famous by Game of Thrones, and it's very popular with the Instagram crowd. And I had to go there, and there's a bunch of Instagrammers, and all it took was a little pepper spray, and they were gone. Boom. But this is interesting. I've never seen somebody with a flashlight
Yeah,
that
that's
shot
cool.
an F-22. I'm just guessing because of the star bright from the flash. But this is the most different dark hedges shot I've seen. So I'm giving the photographer some credit
props for
here.
that.
So I like that one. I like this one a lot. And this just kind of, it's okay.
It's fine.
Thoughts, guys?
I like the three of them. I would agree. This one, this one has kind of a spooky look, and I would go with a lot more negative space. Just let that building, church, become small and see the atmosphere around it. That little bit of light hitting it is nice. And so you don't need it as big right in the center.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know, compositional. And this one I would just crop in on the left so you have equal bush
Yep.
on both sides.
I thought the same thing. Yep. Let's do that. And if you look when you're doing the crop thing, there is a little handle at the center. So if you really kind of want to even it out and get everything, symmetrical, you can use that as kind of a guide. You probably should go a little more than that. Now, I got to be honest with you. If this were me, Mark, I would probably go into Photoshop, duplicate this, flip it
Mirror it,
horizontal, and then just trim a little of it so it didn't look
you go.
exactly the same. But the disparity in heights is actually it's distracting. So I would flip one or the other and then just I'll give you the 30-second version of that. It's not going to be very accurate what I'm going to show you, but I would take this, put it on its own layer, and then flip it the other way. Right, get it over here, and then clone everything else out. I would clone in all the, you got to get rid of that, stuff back there, and you could probably do it pretty quickly with a clone stamp tool. What's going on here? My opacity is 2%. That was I don't know what the heck I was retouching, and just kind of get rid of all that stuff, and then blend the background and all that. You get the idea. Yeah, but I think it's a cool shot overall. I think it's very cool. And dark hedges, any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, man, I would bring it in. I would crop it a little bit left and especially right, and get rid of the lights in the background of the houses and the fence as well, and make it simply about the trees and the subject in the road.
So we have to come in maybe a little this way. I know we're trying to get
You
rid of
maybe
a
do
little,
a tall
right?
crop on it.
Oh, you're talking about a big crop.
Yeah,
okay.
if you do like a tall crop.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And I'm
This really simplifies the scene, right?
I'm going to pull back the highlights just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I like that. That's a stronger, much stronger. Yeah.
Now you don't see the lights in the background. It could be anywhere.
Yep.
It could be it feels more mysterious.
Very, very nice. All right. Let me make sure before I open these next ones, don't show the screen yet. I want to make sure I don't have anybody's name visible or anything, or file names, or I don't think I do, but I just want to make doubly sure. Okay, here we go. All right, I don't know if you guys can tell. This thing's out of focus as heck. I mean, it's way, way out of focus.
Yeah, it looks
like it's just.
Yeah, I'm not sure what has even happened in there.
It's way out of focus. I mean, it's not even a little. It's like, whoa.
What's going on this one? Is there some lines like a zoom?
Yeah, there's a
zoomy
thing.
Zoom.
Yeah, he did the zoom thing. He did the zoom trick.
Okay.
Where he's
or something, but it's weird. It's weird because
creating light rays.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. You ready, guys? So he did a long exposure on the ground. He did a long exposure also in the sky, but the sky didn't move the way he wanted to. He went into Photoshop, put that sky on its own level, ran a zoom blur, and that's the spill from the zoom blur. The zoom blur spills over, and he didn't trim it at the end. Or she didn't trim it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. That's where that comes from.
Yeah,
it wasn't
some
he did not turn the barrel. That's spill from hey, I admire them for adding the zoom blur to the sky, but you got to clean up you left a telltale sign
the
there.
Foreground.
Yep.
And if it were me compositionally, I mean, you're trying to create something simple here. Just walk forward a little bit, get rid of the rocks, and make it simply about the dock and the guy out there and the sky. And it's impossible, maybe not, I don't know, but
I would
Yeah,
say
I mean,
maybe more in there.
think it's
Just get rid of that.
Yep.
And you can
Yep.
just use the, there's an
Sure.
eraser tool over, here's the eraser tool. Use the new eraser with generative AI. And then just go wee and take all this crap at the bottom too with you. And that's the worst possible painting job you could possibly do.
Yeah, that's like somebody using their
And then,
trackpad.
yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. But it's like, I shouldn't really drink before these things, but I did. And so that's what happens.
Well,
All right. Wow, it left it. Do you know why it left it? No, I'll tell you why it left it. Because if you don't get it all, it thinks you want another rock, right?
You just didn't hit all the rock.
I didn't get all the rocks, so that's on me. But anyway, I agree with your compositional advice there. What about the tigers that are not really in focus?
It's over sharpened like crazy, and stop doing that.
Do you know why it's over sharpened like crazy?
Because it was
Because it's out of focus. All right.
It was out of focus, and then tried to risk it over sharpening.
We got some work to do on your focus and on your post. So you're saying that image is out of focus. This one's out of focus. This one appears to be in focus, but you blew it on the sky. So we need a little bit of work. You got a little bit of work there. All right, last one. I think this is it. Last one, guys, and I promise to let you go. Let's take a look. Ooh, thumbnails look good. Oh yeah, let's go.
That's where I grew up in.
This is my kind of photography.
Oh, I love this.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Some toy stuff.
These are toys. Is that a
Yep,
toy?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It looks
This
really
is
good.
really good toy stuff.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
toys.
it's toys.
Yeah, so these are miniatures. You heard us talking about Dave the Bear Maker earlier.
Yeah.
Like this is the stuff that he does. He buys these things, he builds the sets, and that's what these
the Razor
are.
Crest there.
I thought that was real. I thought that was real.
That
And I
one-
love the toning on
That's-
it, like the
that's
color
really
tone
nice.
on it. It's just so bleak. It looks like a thing from a movie. This one is the one that looks like a toy. This doesn't. That looks like a frame from a movie. So does
in the
this.
middle could just if we sculpted it a little bit more with the light, I think it wouldn't look like
Yeah,
a toy as
it just
much.
unfortunately this was the one that gave it away that it was and also it looks like it's a little overexposed.
Yeah, that's what
It
I'm
looks like
saying.
it
I
needs
think
to
if
come
we-
back a
if
bit.
we-
That helps.
Somewhere
if
in
we were,
there.
like, doing something like that, that's where you would really not notice it as much.
Yeah, I think that was
That one
just
was a dead giveaway. 'Cause
just
of
a
the
little bit
overexposure.
overexposed. But
What does that sign say? That's
I think
propped
it
up there?
says free manure. Free manure. Now, this is another problem. Is the sign looks very new and crisp.
Yeah.
Like, you have to
dirty
weather
it up.
that sign a little bit
Especially if they're giving away manure.
But I got to tell you, number one, great sets. Number two,
Yes.
great photography. It's well done.
Putting
I
in
mean,
the effort.
we're nitpicking. This is awesome stuff.
Can we see the camper one more time?
Yes, absolutely. Let me go to it over here.
I just want to look at it. I don't, I'm not, no critiques about it. Just, I
Isn't that
love this
great?
photograph. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Love
a
it.
beauty. Composition, everything.
1967. Yep, 1967, 68 Ford.
Hey, what if the four of us go in and build this in real life? Somebody
do it.
finds an old Ford,
Well,
take
you
it out in
imagine
the snow.
The miles per gallon that thing gets.
I'm in.
Wow.
I'm in. Who
All
cares?
right.
Yeah, I can. I'm reading a book up there in bed, and inside.
All right. Wow, I love this. I love this. Congratulations to the photographer. What a way to end the show. End on a really high note. Hey, we have some last comments. Dave Gallagher wants to know, when is the next How Would I Edit Your Photo show? It'll be coming up in the next few weeks, next couple of episodes. Tim Stalmer says he learns a lot from the blind critiques, which is why I'm hesitant to submit mine. Tim, nobody will know but you. We won't
That's
say
true,
your
as
name.
long as you don't put your watermark on it.
And then Kevin says, learning so much. Excellent, Tim. Different Tim. Tim Nez says, I'm curious to know if you find yourself needing a pen and tablet less as Lightroom gets better and easier to use. I only pull out a pen and a tablet when I'm doing retouching. And to be honest with you, AI does a lot of my portrait retouching now. So.
Yes.
Nanette says, I will definitely have to rewatch so much great info. Karen says these critiques are so helpful. All right, we're going to give away our prizes, and we're going to say a good night on our longest episode of the year.
Yes. So we got.
But first, I really want to thank Marc and Wayne for taking the time and sharing their expertise. Both really, really excellent photographers. I saw some of Marc's images on the trip, and I was blown away. You're both phenomenal photographers and great teachers, and you guys share a lot. So go follow Marc right now while you're thinking about it. Go to Instagram. It's MarcMuench photo, and you're going to see lots of great photos like these. So go follow him, and then Wayne is just Wayne_Suggs, Suggs. And also lots of great photos. Holy cow. Why don't we ever get photos like this for our blind critiques?
Yeah.
Wow, these are great. Make sure you go follow them right now. And do not forget to go to muenchworkshops.com and go and sign up for the newsletter and get your free copy of their magazine. I saw their magazine when I was on the ship, not the issue that they were showing there, one of the other issues. First rate, beautiful magazine. It's printed, it's gorgeous. And make sure that grab some of those last spots. You don't have many opportunities left there for this whole year. So go to Greenland. Can you imagine wild Patagonia? Oh,
yes.
Got to be crazy. All right, guys. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah,
thank you, Marc. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Your insights were really, really good.
Yeah,
really, really great. And so I hope we'll have you back here. You guys will come and do another one with us one day. We would love to have you back.
We might bring up something a little more creative than ISO irrelevant. Anyways.
No, that was good. That was very helpful.
Yes.
All right. Absolutely. Thanks to you, both of you guys. And now we're going to give away some stuff. So,
so we got
who's winning what?
The Scott's How to Do That in Lightroom book is going to Philip Columbus. And then the Crest Composition book is going to Laurent Lenny. And we've got Platypod Handle going to Jim Kurvsky, and then the On One No Noise going to Tim Nees, and then V Flat is going to Karen Super. And just email us over at gridprize@kelbyone.com if you won, and then we'll verify information and send you out your prize. Just try to do that by this Friday if you can, please.
One last thing, go to the Lightroom. If you want to go to the Lightroom Live conference, which is coming up next month, go get your ticket right now because you can save a bunch of money. It is May 13th and 14th. Go to KelbyOne Live. KelbyOne Live will take you right to the information. You'll see all the great instructors. That's the page right there. And you'll get all the information and tickets and everything else that you need. It's going to be an incredible 2-day, two-track, tons of classes. If you use Lightroom, you need to be there. So come and join us. We have a pre-con day, 2 solid days, and you get the entire thing archived for an entire year to go back and watch, rewatch any classes, catch any classes you missed. There's 20-something classes. It's a lot of classes, and it's not a lot of money. You'll learn a lot. You'll laugh a lot. You'll make some new friends. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, there was one last thing. Oh, if you are a KelbyOne member and you are not a member of our community, so our community is a very, very active, super friendly, super helpful online community just for KelbyOne members, where everyone uses their real names and everyone gets along. Yeah. Really, really great. Head over there. If you're already a KelbyOne member, sign up for the forum. There's so much going on, including they do a live broadcast every week. They do a community live thing, and they have guests, and they share a lot of stuff. It's a great place to get help if you're stuck with Lightroom or Photoshop or photography or your camera or settings or whatever. The most helpful, friendly, encouraging people you'll find there. So go over to the KelbyOne, sign up for the community. Basically, you just have to sign in.
Actually, all you got to do is just sign in as your
member,
just sign in, and then just go over to the side and hit community, and it'll automatically log you in.
And also, with every single class, we post a class every single week. And beside each class, when you start to watch it, there is a little button called Discuss This Course. You can click on it, and you can talk to other people who are watching the course and directly with the instructor themselves.
So
right there.
Discuss this course.
Discuss.
And then Scott's in there talking about the class.
I'm yapping. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Also, thanks to my crew. They've had a long day today running this in the control room, and Jason and Erik.
And we got to
and
turn
Juan.
around and run another one in just
We
a
got
couple minutes.
1 hour. We got to do another one. That's just for our inner circle members. But thanks for everybody. Also, thanks to Marc and Wayne. Really, they were great. And thanks to you guys for watching. Thanks to our sponsors. See you guys next Wednesday right here on the grid, home of the moving jib.